If you've poured your heart and soul into starting your shop and you're feeling discouraged because things aren't growing the way that you've wanted them to, I want you to know that I get it. I launched my first product months before I even sold anything. There were many times where I wondered if I was going to find success with this crazy little idea that I had, and I kept at it. In April 2021, we hit 40K in a single month over at my store, the contract shop. That was really significant because we hadn't had any sales or promotions. That was just pure people coming in every day and buying stuff. So that was really our long game plan paying off. And if you want to see how I was able to do that in more detail, I'll link to that video below where I go into detail about what that looks like. But let's get back to your situation, because if you're feeling like you're not growing your shop, or maybe you're feeling that it's not making the kind of money you want or need it to make, it can be very discouraging. I hope I just explained to you that it is possible to find success with your digital downloads by sharing my story. So if you didn't know, I started with $74,000 of consumer credit card debt, trying to build businesses what I would consider probably the wrong way. And then I started my shop, and just last month alone was half of that credit card bill. Now that's many years in the past. Still, that's where we've gone from where we started. And my goal here today is to help you feel better about where you're at and to boost your sales, obviously, and then finally make a plan so that you're out of this funk for good. The first thing you're going to do is take a break. And this probably sounds or feels counterintuitive. If everything feels like it's really close to falling apart and you're feeling discouraged, it's actually typically a sign that you're nearing burnout and you need to get outside, you need to take a nap, you need to snuggle with your family, your dog, whatever. Just take a step away from your shop for a day or two if that's at all possible. Take a break. Number two, make sure you're checking in with yourself, especially on a regular basis. So I journal almost every day, and if you're not already doing that, this is a great time to start, especially if you're feeling down about the growth of your shop. I really just want you to sit down and brain dump everything that you're thinking and feeling right now. Just trust the process, because maybe you feel resentful that people said your product was awesome but nobody bought it, or maybe you're worried that the products that you've created aren't strong enough. People don't need them enough to make a purchase of them. If you're feeling at all overwhelmed about what goes into the marketing of your shop or your products, I know what that's like. So just make sure whatever it is that you're feeling or might be feeling, you're dumping it all out. So we're going to come back to this in a minute. If you want to pause this video, you can even do that and just dump it all out right now. The third thing you're going to do is review what's going well, because in addition to getting caught up in what's not working, we often overlook what is working. So just take a minute, even on that same sheet of paper or in that notebook, make sure it's a cute one. Use that one you've been saving. You're just going to write down at least 3, maybe even 4 or 5 things that are going well. So if you have anybody that's happy with your work or your products recently, just think of those things and make sure you're celebrating them in some way, even if that way is just writing them down on a piece of paper. Number 4, compare your notes on what you're worried about or what you feel like isn't working, and compare that to what is working. So we have those 2 lists now, and look if there are things that you could be doing more of and see where that disconnect is. So what could you be doing that would help you out? Maybe getting to be a guest on someone's podcast, or asking past clients or customers to share your products out for a commission. They can have a discount code. This is a really great exercise because it actually shows you what you like doing and what's working and what you can be doing more of with the limited time that you do have. The 5th thing is it's time to think about what's not working, and don't just say like everything. Look at what you wrote down. Look at what is coming up for you in your notes and that journaling process, and what is standing out to you as the one thing that's just the top of the list not working for you. Maybe you're realizing that the time you've put into social media isn't paying off. That's usually where I see clients get hung up. Or you're realizing that you really missed the mark with some of your recent promotions and launches. Maybe you didn't share about them enough. If you're realizing that you need more help and that you can't do this all alone, that's a really normal place to be. And whatever it is, the thing that you are missing the mark on, just make sure you have a really clear idea of what that is so that you can make some changes. The 6th thing is to take another break. So I'm sure that you're doing all of the last 3 steps perfectly, right? Well, this is seriously what helps me. And so when I am taking this time back, when I'm stepping away from things, reevaluating and assessing, I'm also taking care of myself. A lot of times, I think, especially for myself as a recovering people pleaser, my natural tendency is just to charge full steam ahead into the problem, but all that does is hurt me more. As an example or analogy, I should say, if you broke your leg, you wouldn't run harder on it, you'd take a break. And so if something is not working, if you're not having the results that you're looking for, your business is broken and you're not going to try to run on that broken business. We need to take a step back and make sure that we really understand what the problem is, and we're also going to nurse ourselves to take care of ourselves so that we're not just running on a broken leg. The 7th step is to make sure you're talking to some kind of biz bestie or a mentor of some sort. If you can't afford a coach right now, when I was in this stage of my business, I leaned on podcasts a lot. I saw them as my mentor, and those are obviously free. I love to talk to my trusted team members. They're kind of a coach in a way for me. I actually have 2 coaches, and that's all I take on per year because I want to absorb everything that they have to tell me, not like what the entire internet tells me is the thing I have to do. So listening to just those 2 voices and then having some people, whether they're friends or team members, that I can vent to and get helpful feedback from is going to make the world of difference. It has for me, and I know it will for you too. So maybe you just need to get out there and make some friends. Number 8, make a plan. Let's be honest, most of the time when I talk to you guys, you shop owners, you don't always have the strongest plan. So create digital product, even though that's your goal, that's not an actual plan. We need to create some steps and break this down so that we can get you to those 10K plus months. If you're not really mapping out any kind of strategy to make that happen, it never will. Make sure that you have maybe another clean sheet of paper or another notebook, or the same notebook actually. I like to keep everything in one notebook. And you're just gonna write down some of the very specific things that you would like to achieve in the next 6 months. I think it's hard to make goals that are like a year or more out because you just aren't sure where you're going to be. You can start to assign it some of these numbers, like maybe you wanna make 6 figures this year. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're being honest with yourself that this is actually something that you want. So if you wanna spend more time with your family, but you're saying that you actually wanna make 6 figures, what you want and what you're feeling, those are going to be out of alignment, and that's why you might not be hitting the goals that you're writing down on paper. Because if you're out of alignment, deep down, you're just subconsciously never going to want to actually get to the place that you need to be. And that's why this exercise is also really helpful. If you're realizing that you need maybe more help, you can see that as your goals are taking shape, they could be broken down into projects. Hopefully that could be assigned to someone, maybe even delegated out to a contractor or someone who's an expert in that area. That would be a great way to avoid future burnout and frustration, because at the end of the day, it's important to shift your mindset from this isn't growing fast enough to I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm just planting the right seeds, and I know that this is going to bear fruit soon. It's a long game, especially depending on your industry, your audience, how familiar they are with you and your particular products. If you're willing to do that and reach these true heart-centered goals, you will eventually see success. And if you're looking for any help on specific strategies to grow your online shop, if you feel like you've reached a plateau, if you're identifying that you need a mentor or a coach of some sort, you're probably going to want to check out my Simple Sustained Shop Sales System. I know that's a mouthful, we just call it S4, but it basically is the 8 sales strategies that I've used over the 4. So we have 4 foundational strategies and then 4 that build on that. So you start with the base foundation strategies, and once you have those up and running, hopefully without you, that all runs without me in my business, I show you how to do that. You'll start to make those 10K plus months, and then you can layer on the additional 4 strategies, which will be really fun because you'll be like my shop and just start to see that exponential growth. So we'll link all that below. And if you have any questions, or if you want to make a comment on what was helpful about this video, that would really help me out a lot. I would very much appreciate it so that we can continue to bring you awesome strategies to make your shop grow. Bye everyone, I'll see you next week.